Alright, if you guys know me by now, I'm terrible about getting started on a project before I start recording because I get super excited about it and jonesed about it, and yeah. So, before the bumper had that rhino line coating on it, and it's peeling from rock chips and stuff, right? And I've been wanting to get that rear chrome bumper not chrome anymore because it's like the last bit of chrome on the truck besides the wheels, right? But I got a buddy that's helping me out with some powder coating, so we're stripping the bumper down the middle with a wire wheel and removing the rear bumper. Now the succession of the rear bumper is kind of tricky. If you got mud flaps, you take the mud flaps off. There's a little bolt that goes up through here into that like welded nut. Let's see, there's a bolt right there that goes inside that the mud flaps hide. And then there's a couple little bolts on the side here, right there, that hold this side one on. So you got to get up underneath, take the plastic off of the step here on the rear bumper. There's a couple bolts underneath that mount the two right here, 1, 2, that come from the underside up to this bracket down there. Couple bolts, you know, and then these guys over here, this little bracket out of the way. So I'm gonna get that last one off, and then the middle should come out, and then the side should come out after, or vice versa, either way, you know. Actually, it looks like the side's got to come out first because there's a little lip there. But we're gonna get these all cleaned up, wire wheeled up, and then hopefully tomorrow powder coated. So maybe try and get some of those dents out, but not too worried about the dents because it's all going to be temporary anyways, because I look forward to building a rear bumper out of maybe some 2x4s and stuff, like a swing out tire gate, because this is going to the spare. That's going to, I'm gonna get rid of that. But yeah, so I'm gonna continue taking this bumper off and then we'll go from there. Okay, so like I said, there's a couple underneath side, a couple that go through the top holding that bumper on in the center. And then to get that step, that plastic step piece out for the bumper there, if you look under the back side of it, it's just got these little squeeze clips that go through those square holes on the top of the bumper in the middle. So your rear bumper is a 3-piece bumper. You got the center piece and those 2 side pieces. It's got like these little plastic caps in between, kind of like little spacers or whatnot. These guys, you just go on the ends there, just kind of hold it in place and all that goodness. I think it's this guy here. There you go. So I'm probably gonna clean these up and paint them black, real nice. Paint this one, this step black, real nice. And then just to kind of give it a newer look so it doesn't look so faded. That plastic's all faded out. And then this one still looks pretty good with the bed liner. Maybe I'll use some bed liner on that too, who knows. Just kind of mash it around. But for now I'm gonna clean these up a little bit and then start to wire wheel them and see what they look like, especially that front one, get that black off. I know you could powder coat over chrome, but I wanna rough it up a little bit with a wire wheel so it has something a little bit better to adhere to. And then maybe acetone it for them, just so it's ready to go. So, all right, I'm gonna start working that. I'm gonna paint these two little mud flaps, clean those up, make them look nice. So, there we go. That's that. Let's get this moving, huh? All right, so I'm thoroughly surprised by how well, hang on, let me fumble this camera around. Got this little wire wheel at Harbor Freight to go on the drill, and I'm 1000% surprised by how well it's stripping this bed liner off. I thought it was going to be much tougher to get off, but you can see. Let's get this going here. It's taking it up no problem. So I'm gonna strip this thing down and hit the back bumper real good. See if I can't scuff it up with this thing. It looks like it's doing a pretty good job at scuffing on top of removing. So see how this thing turns out here in a minute. I'll show you guys once I get this stripped. Wheel made short work of that bed liner. Stripped it all off, but it's not really doing a whole lot to the chrome. I mean, it's scuffing it a little bit. I guess it's working. Up here it's not so much though. I don't know, we'll see. It's got like tire shine, rubbing, spitting out the tires. Washed it yesterday, but like I said, I'll acetone it after. But it doesn't look like it's scuffing too much. We'll see how it works out. Alright, so the wire wheel didn't do shit as far as scuffing the chrome, but there's this belt sander here that is doing the trick. Pretty decent. It's scuffing it up pretty good, except for where it's all dented down at, obviously. But I got some sandpaper and I'm just kind of scuffing up the spots that the belt sander doesn't reach, because obviously like these divots and contours and stuff, just scuff it up with some sandpaper. At least it has some kind of something to adhere to, like up on the curvatures and in that fat friggin' dent that I'm not really gonna worry too much about. Like I said, it's all temporary until I can do some off-road bumpers, but we're gonna finish scuffing these guys, and then the big one is this freaking guy's got dents all over it. You can see it's just all pitted out. So yeah, that's gonna be fun to sand down. That's kind of why I saved it for last. We'll see how this all turns out, but that's how it's going so far. Sure, you guys some progress here in a sec after I get this piece, maybe that piece done. I'll show you where we're at. This is where the that little step plate right there goes in the back for the cargo area. And if you notice underneath it, there's quite a bit of corrosion and dirt buildup. So before I start roughing up any of the surfaces, I'm using this wire wheel that I mentioned earlier to clean off all the dirt in these areas, and then get all the corrosion out of there. So that way it's rust free for the powder coating. One thing that kind of sucks is the back side, which I'm not too worried about, but super rusted. But like I said, this is like a temporary fix, plus it's a little bit of a hookup, like as far as the powder coating goes, to where I'm just getting rid of chrome right now until I can get those bumpers built, those custom bumpers built. So that's how we're kind of going right now. But anyway, just wanted to show like where some corrosion buildup could be underneath that little plastic trim piece for the cargo area. You could have a little bit of buildup of corrosion right there, so pay attention for that, I guess. All right, so everything's scuffed up about as good as I'm gonna get it. Loaded it into the family wagon, Ford Explorer, and so tomorrow we'll go drop these things off so we can get them powder coated and done up real nice. That's about it till tomorrow. Still kind of wet. I'm probably gonna wipe them with acetone before tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. And she'll just sit not very pretty without bumpers for a little bit. It should be done tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can't just help them out and get it done and then put them back on. But like I said, I'll use this semi-gloss black that I used here, and I'll paint the plastics. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna remove the how I'm gonna remove this bed liner from this front thing. I'd like to just do it semi-gloss black now so I can paint these as well, and the mud flaps. And I'm gonna paint these just because this little trim piece sticks out. I'm gonna paint them too, just so nothing looks like crap. So that's these will sit in here until I'm done, but I'm gonna figure out how I can at least maybe just sand these down and paint over this bed liner. Maybe we'll figure something out, but I'm definitely gonna color match the whole thing so that way it's all the same, and then maybe take the hitch off and redo that. It's pretty rusty too, so maybe we'll do something like that. Just do it all up, one big thing. That'd be nice. So there's no cameras allowed because they actually powder coat some type of materials that is somewhat sensitive, but wow, look at that. Oh man, it looks so good. I'm gonna pull these parts out, lay them in the grass so we can see what they're looking like. Look at that. It's got a little bit of orange peel to it, a little bit, but it ain't bad. Let's put them out in the sun. There we go. The powder coatings turned out pretty good. So we're gonna gloss black the mud flaps, gloss black these guys, and then that step we'll do with some bed liner, this truck bed coating, because that's what that plastic piece is. So kind of try and match everything a little bit, for at least for what I got. So we'll see. Just without the lower vallus on it, it already looks a million times better. Look at that. Yes. Just throwing the front on while everything's drying. We washed all these parts so I can paint them. I'm just trying to let them dry. That way we can slap some paint on it. But I'm gonna throw that lower vallus on now on the front bumper, and then we can start working the rear and paint that little step. So yeah, we're gonna keep moving forward. There's only 4 bolts that hold the front bumper on. And right there. 2 on that side. They're like right here and right here. That's it. And then the 2 screws that hold the blinkers on, that's it. And then there's a handful of little 10s that go right here for the lower vallus. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap this on, see what's up. All right, front bumper's on. You didn't need to pop the hood to do the front bumpers. We're working on that 1990 4Runner engine swap still, and we're comparing 3.4 motors to 3.4 motors, wiring harnesses and stuff. But there she is in all of her glory with the vallus back on. And I went ahead and painted the mud flaps. There's a little orange peel in them, but not too bad. A little bit right there. It's actually kind of bad, but we're gonna rock it. And then I painted the edge of these because it's gonna be showing. And we went ahead and hit this with the bed liner, the texture to match the front. So that guy's good to go. So let's start putting the rear on. Get that done up with these guys. See what we can't do. OCD caved in, and I put that bumper on here, and then looked at this rusted ass tow bar and was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm not gonna be okay with that. So taking it down, and I got a busted trailer hitch or tow hitch for the electrical. So I disconnected all of that because it wasn't too busted, but when you actually looked at it, it was nasty. And all the wiring just super corroded, and it's bad. So we're gonna take that off and paint it up to the tow bar, but ingenuity at its finest. Use my stool to hold the tow bar up while I'm taking it off. And that's how we're thinking. So far, this is, I don't know, I want to say like an 8 beer job or so. 8 or 10 beer job altogether, between taking all the bumpers off, stripping them down, and now assembling back on. But it's going into pretty in deep because the tow bar that turned into a thing. Plus it's got trailer brakes. It's a trailer brake system. I don't know if you can see it from here. It's right there on the dash. So now I got to trace those lines all the way up to take that brake system out, trailer brakes out. I'm gonna keep it all, I'm just taking it out for now. So that way I can clean all this up and paint it all up, fix that bracket, stuff like that. So that's where we're at now. Yeah, that was a process. Okay, that's what happens when my OCD kicks in. So I decided to leave that hooked up, right? The trailer brake setup. All the wiring that was dangling back here in the back, traced it out. I took out a power wire that was connected to an aftermarket power relay, and then I also just kind of, the other power wires, everything else is pretty much still hooked up under the dash. But I coiled these guys here between the charcoal canister and the wall. And that was where that other guy was at, right there. So now all the wiring's out, and now we get to put the bumper on. So I'm gonna put these bumpers on now finally. I'm gonna probably leave the trailer hitch off for a little bit, that way I can really clean it up and paint it. So I'm gonna put this stuff together, get this over with. That way we can see how it's going. You'll put this center piece of the bumper on first. 4 screws on the top, 4 screws in the back, coming in this way and this way. And then there's that little guy right there that holds the side on. And there's a little hook right here that you can hook right here onto the top of it while you get the front all situated. Once you get the front situated where you want it, then you can tighten down the back. It's kind of convenient. So that's the process. And then you just continue with the rest of it, tighten it all down. Pretty simple shit. Here it is. In all their glory. I just left the hitch off. I'll do the painting on that later and deal with that, but it all looks pretty good considering, with all the dents and everything. But that's it. That's a bumper. All done. Painted up mud flaps. Everything. That's it. Good to go.